On the outskirts of the factory fleet sit the door slammers. Mod and ProStock hot rods, slap on the power adders and roll to the line looking for low ET. Welcome to the 2024 MRA Championship Series Finals, coming at you from the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags, just outside of Steelville, Missouri, on the Booker Farms property. And today, it's the Outlaw ProStocks. We have not followed the series all year, but we're going to get our first look at some machines that were new at the beginning of the year. Of course, the Outlaw ProStocks, a mix of ProStocks and mod hot rods. Here's a look at the standings coming into this final week of action. Chris Bonneker and Will Harrison on top of this thing, separated by only 5 points. Kelby Ladner, Rick George, who now has a full fleet of machines across the different classes. We'll see many of his sons and his brothers' machines throughout the weekend. And Uncle Wayne Bonneker rounding out the top 5. So the Bonneker family, of course, strong in the class for this year. And as we bring our first 2 machines to the line, take a look first up at Mike Latham out of Parkview, Iowa. This is Hammer Time. 2015 Chevy Colorado fiberglass body on a factory frame, 632 cubic inches of big block Chevy power, no nitrous on this thing, single carburetor, and he's going to go side by side with a machine new to us. Debuted at the beginning of this year, literally blew the doors off on its first competition pass. That is a new member of the Harrison Logging Camp in terms of the machine, but the driver is Will Harrison in Razor's Edge out of Grenada, Mississippi, with a 512 cubic inch Brad Anderson Hemi with a 1471 Cobelco Roots blower up on top. Another machine built by Eric Bidlack for that team, going to be the first 2 down the track. Super quick. Will Harrison going after that record. And he did it, a 2.40 for Will Harrison. The track record standing right now is a 2.46. That was set in 2012. Now, he hasn't backed it up yet, so he is not going to hold the record until he does so. He'll get a shot to do that in session 2. But what a pass for the Mississippi Chevrolet. And there you see the builder and the builder's son watching that thing go down the track. The Bidlack family very, very intent on building something that could break the 200-foot record in the OPS class, and they have accomplished that. Now, setting the record is a different story. They're going to have to do it again, but a 2.40, a big, big deal in the OPS class, as Latham, trying to stay right there with him, runs a 3.01. Now Jesse Brown rolls out. Loose cannon out of Waverly, Tennessee. A guy we saw taking on the ProStock division for many, many years. Moved up in horsepower, now runs in this class. And the modifieds, he goes side by side with a member of the George family, that being Randy George, Bad Medicine, out of Franklin, Georgia. We saw this machine debut last year under a different name, 864 cubic inch Rare and Morrison power plant. You saw that at the top of the show. 4-stage nitrous system in that one. A racing in the dirt built machine. Was brand new for 2023, tuned by the one and only Shane Olrogi, who is, of course, here this weekend. You'll see him walking up and down on the track. Justin George there getting Randy all staged up. We will see Rick going down the track a little bit later in this first session. Right now, though, Jesse Brown in the far lane. Randy George in the near lane. OPS session 1, pass number 2.
Who's standing in the left? I'm going to sit in the right.
Super quick, Randy George going for a ride and shut down at 265, and the clocks did not trip in the left lane. You saw Brown got no time there. Another look at it here. Watch Randy George working for a living in the shutdown, but an outstanding pass. out of the right lane. This lane was nothing but trouble last year, guys, all over the place. We had a few cars in the wall. Greg Booker and the Booker Farms family getting this track nice and tight this year, but a wild ride there in the shutdown, as I said, for Randy George. One more look at it. Watch how sideways he gets coming out. Off to his right, driving the car out of disaster now as another member of the George family. There you see Rick George. Brand new machine for them for this year. This is Smoking Gun. Again, out of Franklin, Georgia, 800 plus cubic inch power plant in this brand new custom built 37 pickup with the OPS mod chassis underneath. There you see Wayne Bonnecker. We know Wayne Bonnecker very well out of House Springs, Missouri, 814 cubic inch Hemi in that one. It's a Sonny's power plant, partially built by John Conkle, and it's a Hemi head with a Chevy firing order. Just a little trivia on that machine. Wayne, a guy well capable of getting in that record territory, but it has just eluded him for so long. Now they're going after Will Harrison, who broke the record. If you can get in that record territory in this class, though, keep in mind, if they can get near that record, if they can get below that record and back it up, and Will can't, one of these other teams could own it at the end of this weekend, but it remains to be seen. Pass number 3 ready to go in the OPS division. George and Bonnecker coming into stage. There you see Wayne moving up in between those red boxes. Those are the timing lights on the starting line. He'll break the beam and wait for it to fall to green. Rick George was moving. Bonnecker with a few problems on the run, runs a 322 and didn't get a reaction time for him right there. George running an awesome pass in Smoking Gun, runs a 242, so he has a shot at the record now. If Harrison can't back it up, Rick George may well get it, but we're going to have to wait till session 2 to find that out. We got a lot more to go here with the Outlaw ProStocks. Stay with us. More to come from the MRA 2024 Championship Finals. Stay with us.
This presentation is brought to you by Pioneer Pole Buildings. Looking for reliable strength on your next building project? You want a partner as tough as the task ahead. Pioneer Pole Buildings. Built for you, built to last for over 25 years. This program is brought to you by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Welcome back to Steelville, Missouri, the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags, Cook Station, Missouri, to be precise. We're just outside of Steelville, a little ways down the road, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but this is some beautiful countryside. If you see this one on the calendar and you have the date available, you got to get out and see these guys run on the biggest shutdown they have. They run it right through the end of the track. Here you see a guy, former champion in this series, Jason Chaya, a guy who chased that record for so long in this class, and this seems to be the weekend these guys are going to get a shot at it. You see how deep the loam is here on the starting line out of Waiawega, Wisconsin. About an hour west of Green Bay. He lines up next to Chris Moses out of Davenport, Iowa, and that John Conkle Big Block Chevrolet. Record-capable chassis on the other side of the track as well, but it seems like we've been a curse to Moses. Every time our cameras have been around, this truck has struggled a bit. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen here tonight as he lines up next to Jason Chaya. Lil Crazy, the name of the Bronco here in the near lane. Let's see if Jason can track down that record. Remember, the record in this class, a 246 currently standing, but it has been broken. Shia was flying Moses with more problems, and Shia will run a 276, so he will not get past that record. No, what happened to Chris Moses right there is, yeah, he did not get a time. Apparently the clocks did not trip again in that lane, so got to keep an eye on that. They're going to get a second shot at it, though. The rule states that if they want to come back and take another shot at the Session 1 pass, they'll do so. We'll see if Jesse Brown comes back as well, because remember, he also had the clock not trip. Here comes Jamie Suter, the big black Chevrolet out of the state of Tennessee, Woodlawn, Tennessee to be exact. Chassis built by Jamie and his friend Roger Darnell. 872 cubic inch rear and Morrison power plant, and that one he goes side by side with the property owner here this weekend. The very hospitable, very friendly Greg Booker, one of the best guys in the business, and another Eric Bidlack built machine. Bidlack has his hands on a lot of vehicles in this sport today, and he and the old Rogies have a nice little chassis war going on right now that'll only get better as time goes on. Now as Outlaw and the Chevy go side by side, Booker and Suter again shooting for that 246. Always awesome to see the flames coming out as the sun sets. 258 for Suter, closing in on it. 2.7 for Booker. Neither one of them going to get to the top of the class, but a pair of awesome passes there. One more time. Coming down the track, nice straight pair of runs. And you can see Suter carrying that front end about 2.5 inches off the ground with the flames coming out. That is the trademark look for that truck. Suter out of the left lane, solid pass, but he's going to be looking for a little bit more, I think, when he comes back for Session 2. Always going to turn it up. Look at Booker having to reel it back in the finish line now as Chris Bonneker rolls out in Havoc. Saw this guy earlier this year in Sanford, North Carolina on the paddles along with Uncle Wayne. Also ran the paddles this year. Bonneker in that 705 cubic inch big block Chevy powered machine right next door to Sam Lambazio in a new machine for him, but not a new machine to this track. This is Greg Booker's old machine, Lambazio out of Knoxville, Illinois, and a big block Ford powered pickup. And again, this machine is very well tuned to this soil out here, because again, this is Greg Booker's old truck going side by side with a machine that lives right here in Missouri, that being Chris Bonneker. There you see Wayne Bonneker getting Chris all staged up. We're going to roll into the staging beams and wait on green. Bonneker in Havoc, Lambazio in all in 4. Left lane running super straight, but they are all getting out of shape when they come through the traps at the end. A 280 out of the left lane there for Lambazio, and Bonneker, as you saw, ran a 253. But again, it looked like he pulled to the right coming out of the lane there. Those bright red lane lights they're running, and the power lights they're running in the back of the car. It serves multiple purposes. Number one, they can see each other going into shutdown. The track officials on the other end, on the top end of the track, can see them when they go by. The track officials at the starting line can see if they get out of shape when they get down into the end zone. And, of course, it gives you an indication as to whether or not the power is on, should you need to run up and cut it. Now, as Casey Lawyer rolls out in the super fast strategic attack. Some material coming out of the pipes as always, but he carries the front end on down to the under end, and Casey Lawyer running a 273 with a 2 coming out of the first session. One more look at it. Watch him dancing on the rear tires. Unloaded a little bit when I got on the wheelie bar. He may want to change the configuration of that chassis for session 2 when he comes over to the right lane. Here is a look at the top 5 as they stand right now. Will Harrison, of course, on top at a 240. Rick George, again, ran a 242. 253, 258 for Bonneker and Suter, and then Randy George there with the 265, so you can see how competitive the top of this field really is as we get ready to go into session 2 as the sun has set. It's getting a little dark over here on this side of the track, so we're going to bring out the lights here momentarily. Stay with us. A lot more action coming your way from right here in Steelville.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
Welcome back to Cook Station, Missouri, just outside of Steelville, the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags. Jesse Brown back on the line. Gonna make a second pass out of that left lane. Remember, he did not trip the clocks in session 1, so he's gonna take another shot at it here in Loose Cannon. Truck made a move on him just off the starting line, took him to the right, and that's gonna hurt his time. Definitely a 294 with a 5, not close to what Brown is capable of, and it looked like, we'll have to get a look at it on replay here, but I thought there was some mist coming out from under the doghouse on his way down through the finish line. We'll get another look at it here, but you can see it make a move. You get a real good look at it here on this replay. Picks up the front end, and it comes to the right side of the lane right there. Driving out of it, didn't have to get out of it too bad, but just enough. And yeah, there is definitely some vapor or something coming out from under the doghouse right there. Hopefully that's nothing. Maybe just a little bit of blowback from that nitrous system, but we'll have to wait and see. He immediately cut the power when he left the track. But right now, here's what's going on in this class. Nothing changed in the top 5, but here's the deal. 2 trucks sit, 1 and 2. Will Harrison and Rick George both have a shot at the record right now, just going into session 2. But Chris Bonneker there in 3rd is in a must-win situation. We'll explain that in just a moment. Right now, coming to the line, though, Casey Lawyer in strategic attack. You see the Frankenstein kind of pattern zip ties there just under the B-pillar on the cab. This truck had a tremendous accident earlier this year. Lawyer and the crew and good friends put that thing back together to get the OPS 36 Chevy back on the track. And the cage is much stronger than it's ever been. The truck is rebuilt more sturdy than it's ever been, and Lawyer has more confidence in it than he has ever had as he purges the nitrous, trying to get the atmosphere just right for that fuel system to make the most horsepower possible. Remember, they're still all shooting at that 246 until Harrison actually sets it. Outstanding run for Lawyer, bouncing down through the shutdown. 273, not going to do it, but an awesome pass. 712 cubic inches of big block Chevy going to work. The VZ power plant doing everything he needed it to do. And again, Lawyer, nothing to be ashamed of. Not going to get to the top of the fleet tonight, but laying down an awesome pass as the pipes light the bright white body going into the darkness. Great run for strategic attack. Lawyer will be back tomorrow in the modified class, of course, as well, when we have the modifieds run on the cuts. On our next edition, we'll see the modifieds on the paddles, the opens on the cuts, and then on Saturday they will switch tires, and some of these OPS vehicles will jump up to the modified class. Some of them will go to the ProStock division as that action gets underway. Now, we talked about this machine. This is Greg Booker's old ride, now under the pilotsmanship of Sam Lombazio out of Knoxville, Illinois, and Bazio Plumbing. And you remember Lombazio's gorgeous ride he had for so many years, that bright red Ford pickup the big block Ford power plant, and it continues now with the big block Ford power plant, all in for Oakley Motorsports built and tuned engine. And there's the man who's in the dire situation right now, Chris Bonacker out of House Springs, Missouri. 705 cubic inches of cast iron Chevrolet. He is going to try to get to the other end of this track quicker than Will Harrison, and he has to demolish a standing record to get in front of Harrison. And he said he's going to try to do it. You see the nitrous shooting out into the night sky right now. That's what that vapor is coming out, just purging the system, trying to get that pressure just right. You don't want too much, you don't want too little, but you want to be able to feed fuel to that motor as he goes side by side with Lombardi. Well, Sam had about the best run we've seen so far out of that right lane in terms of keeping it straight. He runs a 2.72, Bonacker a 2.55. He's not going to do it, and that may have, I'm pretty sure, that just determined the points championship here at season's end. But it was a good run. Could have been a winner on any given weekend, except this one, a 2.55. Not going to get the job done for Chris Bonacker, but nothing to be ashamed of right there as session 2 continues on. One look at it from the end zone. Bonacker moving around a little more in the lane than I thought he did on that side shot, but again, solid run for him as Jamie Suter rolls out now in his 66 Chevrolet, the man in black out of Woodlawn, Tennessee. As I mentioned, a massive rear end Morrison power plant in that one with the 4-stage Speed Tech nitro system with the Speedwire nitrous controller, 2-speed Linko transmission now as he stages alongside the man himself, Greg Booker, right here at home, running on his own property right now, shooting for a top spot. He's been a champion in this sport before. You're going to see if he can do it again. At least here for the night. He's not going to take the points championship. You saw Suter there clearing out the engine. Ready to go side by side out of the right lane. Suter going to see if he can pick anything up. This vehicle is capable of a record pass. Both of them are. The Eric Bidlack built Outlaw in the left lane. Not going to be Jamie Suter's night. Had to pedal it a bunch of times to get down into shutdown, a 3.23. Obviously not going to be at the top of it. Booker runs a 2.69 into the shutdown area. Solid run for Greg Booker, but not going to get him to the head of the class on this night here at Booker Farms. But keeping everybody happy again. A lot of hospitality out of the Booker family. Building the track, putting up the lights, putting up the concrete, cooking some nice pig roast that we'll be eating at the end of the weekend, but still finds time to try to make some of the fastest runs down the track here tonight. But right now, Will Harrison still leading the pack with that record pass, followed by Rick George, who again also has a shot at the record. You see Jamie Suter going for a ride in the right lane, but he is A-OK. Stay with us. More action to come from here with the OPS class. Don't go anywhere.
The world-famous C60 Cyclops. The infamous Dodge Carryall, unnamed and untamed. Get yourself a one-of-a-kind toy of a mudbogger turned monster truck at freedomracingnt.com.
For the last half of Session 2 here at the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags, the 2024 MRA Championship Series. The OPS points just about wrapped up unofficially. Will Harrison has taken the points championship as we understand it, but that's not set in stone. Anything could change, and there's a little bit of math that has to be done before the official results are made. official and available. Chris Moses now coming to stage with a John Conkle Chevrolet. See if he can get down there this time in better shape. And I'm not going to say nothing about that first run that he had in the right lane. This is a strong machine going against another strong machine out of Wisconsin, that being Jason Chaya's Lil Crazy. Got up and went for him, but the little Chevy in the right lane having the same problem that Jamie Suter did, a 3.18 for him, and Jason Chaya just ran a 262 with a 5, so neither of those guys are going to move up on the ladder as of right now into the top 5 as Rick George rolls out and Smoking Gun. Talked about this machine, new for this year, beautiful truck, handcrafted body, and the lines on it are just perfect. It's seamless. And this machine right next to it, another awesome hot rod in this division. Both of them will be going to the modified cut class tomorrow. Two super powerful, super fast machines. Of course, Wayne Bonneker ran in the first session a 3.22. He had some problems in the left lane. Now he moves over here to this right lane where all of a sudden guys seem to be hooking to the right side of the track, going against Rick George, who is sitting on a potential record if he could back it up, but he'd have to win the class to do so. But he has a shot at it. We'll see. Can he get past Will Harrison? This is going to be a very telling run here. Harrison with the fingers crossed. George was super quick, but I can tell you that wasn't going to be fast enough just looking at it. A 2.41? No, that was a good time. Closing in on it, but that's how fast Will Harrison was earlier on in the class as Rick George blisters the left lane. Smoking Gun was smoking coming down through there. Looked like he dropped the chute early, if I'm not mistaken. It looked like he actually pulled the chute through the finish line. So that may have hurt his time right there, but he was moving. That was quick, 2.41. If he dropped the chute and still ran a 2.41, then that machine may be unstoppable when he comes back for 2025. Will Harrison's definitely got some competition on the way, especially from this guy, another member of the George Farms family. This is Randy George, Bad Medicine, that big Rear and Morrison power plant in the front of this long wheelbase Ford Bronco. See what he's got out of the left lane. Again, going after a 2.40 for the class, and a 2.46 is the standing record. Rolled a bit off the starting line, and I'm going to wait and see here. Did that in fact a 2.82? Yeah, I think the starting line rolled off the starting line and started the clock before he really punched it, and that definitely hurt his time. We'll get another look at it here in just a moment, but let's see. Watch him. He starts creeping through right here. Okay, you see the light fall, and yeah, he just creeps off the line, and he broke the he already went through the beam to start the clock. And again, that roll off the starting line definitely hurt him. He was moving though when he came down through there. Don't have a mile an hour on him, but those George Farms machines, the racing in the dirt built dirt draggers, definitely quick out here this weekend with the OPS class. Now, the final pairing, you see Will Harrison, Razor's Edge, coming out to try to back up the record. Again, the record that has stood since 2012. It was set by Chad Wren down in Cobbtown, Georgia. 200 feet for the MRA OPS division, 2.46. Harrison is currently sitting on the record, having broken it with a 2.40 with a 2. See if he can back the record up with this final pass out of the left lane. That was a bit of a troublesome lane at the beginning of the night. The right lane seems to have been causing some trouble here at the end of the night, and Latham is going to have a front row seat for it. Let's see what he can do in this pass. Harrison was super quick. Did he do it? Look at that, a 2.33 with a 2. Will Harrison demolished the record right there. He set a new record so far out. Now, here's the deal. He's backing up the 2.40. He just went so fast, he may have to come back and make another pass. He may have to come back and make another pass. The 2.33 is only going to stand in terms of the run he just made. The record, if he stopped right now, is going to go down as a 2.40. Man, he was moving down through there so quick. It was a beautiful run, and you could hear that motor howling in the darkness here in the upper Merrimack region of the Show Me State. Thundering through the mountains here tonight. Latham laying down a nice shot himself, and there are the final elapsed times as they stand. This is unofficial. This is not set the final, because remember that 2.33 is only standing for the class right now, not the class record. Rick George with that 2.41 hanging in there. By the way, that 2.41, again, quicker than the record. That is how fast this class was tonight. So it looks like Harrison is going to come back to the line, and he is going to try to back up the 2.33, and that's saying something. We thought when this record fell, it was going to be a lot closer than what it has been tonight. Eric Bidlack said this truck was going to be the secret weapon in the class when he was building it. Took a while to get it out here on the track. They got it out at the beginning of this year, and it has taken until this point. It's taken until the end of the 2024 season. A whole season of racing. They've run other 200-foot tracks, but none of them have the shutdown area that this one does, and this one has just something special in the soil. We'll see if Will Harrison, he's either going to go or blow right here. Can he back up a 2.33? Boy, you can hear it. It sounds like a storm off in the distance when the thunder from these engines cracks through the peaks, just bouncing off the foothills back here. It's an awesome vibe out here in the night skies of the Show Me State. So he did not back it up, by the way. That's the word we just got. We didn't get an official time on him, but the 2.33 will stand for the victory here tonight. But the record will be a 2.40 when we come back for the 2025 season. Will Harrison finally knocked that OPS record down after, 2012 that thing sat there?
Since 2012. It's been set since last. It ain't been broke since then. So,
and a lot of people took a shot at it, and you almost obliterated it at the second. That other record was going to be near impossible to back up late in the day, but he tried.
I sure tried for it. I was hoping we was going to get that 33. I really did.
And now you know it'll go that fast.
Oh, I know it'll go faster. I know it's got a lot more left in it, too. We're going for the 20s next.
Next year?
Next year.
All right, we'll see you then.
Yes, sir.
What a night of action in the OPS division. Will Harrison demolishing a record, backing up his initial record by demolishing it, but he couldn't back up the faster of the two runs. Will Harrison, though, will win the class, 435 at the end of the season to a 380 over Chris Bonneker. Rick George, Kelby Ladner, who we didn't get to see this weekend, hope to see him back in 2025, and Wayne Bonneker rounding out the top 5 on the season points. We've got more coming at you from the 2024 MRA Championship. And remember, we're going to be around all 2025 to bring you all the action from all 5 events. We will see you next time.
This Back Channel Productions presentation has been brought to you by Gemini Associates. Whether you live upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere in general, we are here to serve.